The Turks accepted Islam in the 10th century, and with that acceptance, madrasas begin to open up in lots of cities like Tashkent, Bukhara, Samarkand, and Kashgar. And madrasas are mosque schools. Because once Islam came into Turkey, obviously mosques were beginning to be constructed, and then madrasas began to open up in the mosques. And these were mosque schools took root. Education was organized and structured in these schools. It was not just children being sent to the madrasas, to the mosque, and people were just babysitting them. They were actually receiving quality education, religious and non religious, and the organization of those madrasas was the responsibility of the people that ran the mosques. Subjects taught were religion and social studies were taught. Now, social studies, focus on that. Social studies is history, geography, and civics. Why do you think these three subjects were seen important? Because the Turks obviously did not want to lose their historical prominence or their historical value. Geography, they were proud of the area they were in. They wanted young children to understand their geography. And civics was civic behavior. How do you behave in society? Turkish society was expanding, was widening, and people had to learn how to live together. Interpersonal skills had to be developed. Agents, and these are just some, okay, Farabi, Ibn Sina, Biruni were some examples that were raised in these institutions, in these madrasas. These are Islamic philosophers who are products of madrasa education, who have left a long-lasting influence on education. They synthesized philosophies from Turk Islam traditions, ancient Greek and Roman literature, and philosophers' work. So what they did was, what these Islamic philosophers did, they looked at their own philosophy and they looked at philosophies that already existed and tried to find commonality and synthesize an understanding, because obviously they had to survive in the middle of the Greeks, the Romans, and themselves. This period lasted for Gokturks, Ugyurs, Karahalis, Seljuks, and Ottomans. These are different pieces or parts of the Turkish dynasty, and we will see over the next few talks how these dynasties influenced education and the philosophies of the time. Eastern philosophers, Farabi was the first one. His philosophy was based on human nature is knowledge. If human nature is knowledge, simply means understanding the human being for what he or she is. And that's critical. Human mind can distinguish right from wrong, and that is wisdom. If you can distinguish right and wrong and still choose to do the wrong, it's not wisdom. View of human nature, ultimate knowledge is innate, which means it is within you. And that ultimate knowledge determines what you will become. If your innate knowledge and desire is medicine, you will become a doctor. If your innate knowledge is art or writing, you will probably become an author, and so on and so forth. And so allowing people to become what they want to become was Farabi. Educational philosophy distinguished teaching from education. Teaching is not education. Education is more than teaching. And that is true, and it cannot be truer today. Teaching and education cannot be equated. You cannot say teaching equals education. Teaching does not equal education. Learning and using the teaching becomes education. Teaching is reveal scientific knowledge and art. Reveal, find out, do something about it, practice it, find out, and let's see. Education for Farabi is create theoretical virtues in society. Education must be easy to hard, simple to complex, near to far. In other words, you need to build education in a hierarchy. You can't start with the complex. Children won't understand it. Start with the simple. Start with what you have, and then you can move out and explore and find out other means. So, teaching and education definitely for this Muslim philosopher are two different entities.